In this tutorial, I'm going to use the 2D text page in my template. In the graphics tools, I look for the text icons, then click on Text Page. This is the capital A with no lines underneath it. I click anywhere on the edit window and the text cursor appears at the top of the screen at the edge of Title Safe area. Now I type in my text. For this example, I'm typing in 3 lines of text. At the end of the last line, it's important to remember to add the carriage return. I'm putting my cursor at the beginning of the top line by using my mouse. I could have used the home and arrow keys instead of using the mouse. To modify the text, I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts to select it. Holding the Shift key down and then clicking on the right arrow multiple times, I can select more and more characters. Shift and down arrow will select a line at a time from the position of the cursor. Shift, Control and right arrow selects one word at a time. I'll put my cursor at the beginning of the second line. I can select from this point until the last character using Shift, Control and the End key. If I want to select from this point to the first character, I use Shift, Control and the Home keys. I use these 2 keyboard shortcuts a lot when selecting text to build graphics templates. Put my cursor before the first character and select all the text on this text page with a single action. When the text is selected, it can be modified. I'm selecting line 3 and I'm changing the font from Arial to Arial Bold. Pixel Power software can use any TrueType font which has been installed into the Windows font folder. To change the size of text, I use the height of the text. Some broadcast regions specify the size of text in TV lines. This is why we've used this measurement to specify font size. You can see here there are also controls for font width, character spacing, line spacing and italic shear. In the Colour tab, I can change the colour of the selected text simply by choosing the colour on the colour wheel. I can change the transparency of the text from the Transparency tab. 100% is solid. Changing this number to 50% makes the text 50% transparent. To add an edge effect to the text like a shadow, I go to the Edge tab. From here I just select the type of effect I want. Outline gives me transparent text with only the border visible. Border gives me my solid yellow text with the border around the edge. To remove the edge effect, I just select No Edge Effect from the drop-down list. Now I want to show you the importance of the Style Copy checkbox. With Style Copy enabled, if I put my cursor in the middle of the line and start to type, the text I type uses the same font size, colour, border and transparency as the characters before it. When I disable Style Copy, if I choose a new colour and then start to type in the middle of the line, the new text is now the colour from the colour palette. Now I turn the Style Copy back on. Depending where the text cursor is on the line, as I type more text, it picks up the font attributes from the character before it. I'll just quickly tidy up this line now before we go on, deleting the selected text using the backspace key. Looking at the text in the edit window, I can see there are white dots where the spaces are between the words. These dots are formatting characters. They'll never be seen on air or on a rendered page in Pixel Factory. Many people find them useful to know how many spaces they have typed between the words. If you prefer not to see them, go to the top of the screen and click on the text drop down. And within markers, uncheck the formatting characters. This now makes the formatting characters invisible. At the moment my text is justified to the left side of the Title Safe area. This can be changed from in the Graphics Tools window. Look for this drop down when you have text selected. Right Justify, Center Justify, and Left Justify. Another way of moving text to a different position on the screen is to pick up the selected text with your mouse and move it into position. This is a great way of moving text around fast, but it's not very accurate. To do the fine positioning, use the following keyboard shortcut. Shift, Control and left, right, up and down arrows to move the text in the desired direction, 1 pixel at a time. Looking at the Graphics Tools window, I see that the selected font is blank. This is because the text that's been selected is of more than one font. If I select a font from the drop-down window, all of my text now becomes Arial Bold. The height is also blank. This is because there are multiple font sizes in my selected text. Be careful of changing this, as the software will assume that if you change the font height on all the selected characters, it will assume that you want the same style on every character. I lose my yellow text. If you do this by mistake, you can undo it, or any other mistake, by clicking Ctrl Z. This concludes the tutorial on using a 2D text page.